Hi, Dr. Webster here, boys. I've got one more story about Pigeon by Mo Willems. Words and pictures. Don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Hi, I'm the bus driver. Listen, I've got to leave for a little while, so can you watch things for me until I get back? Thanks. Oh, and remember, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Why not? What's wrong with that? Pigeon's waiting for his chance. I thought he'd never leave. Hey, can I drive the bus? Don't think so, Pigeon. Please. I'll be careful. I'm not feeling it. I tell you what, I'll just steer. My cousin Herb drives a bus almost every day. Do you believe that? I'm not sure I do. True story. It's not working. Vroom, vroom, vroomy, vroom, vroom. Pigeon at the wheel. This pigeon has a very good imagination. No, I never get to do anything. That sounds like an exaggeration to me. Hey, I've got an idea. Let's play Drive the Bus. I'll go first. Do you think that's going to work? Come on, just once around the block. Pigeon is very persistent. I'll be your best friend. How about I give you $5? No fair. I bet your mom would let me. You think your mom would let him drive the bus? What's the big deal? It's just a bus. I have dreams, you know. Fine. Let me drive the bus. Pigeon's losing it, I think. Two scattered feathers and one very unhappy pigeon. I'm back. You didn't let the pigeon drive the bus, did you? Great. Thanks a lot. Uh-oh. Bye. Very sad pigeon. But he doesn't give up. I think he has another idea. Hey. Now what do you think Pigeon wants to drive? Big truck. All right, I've got some George and Martha stories. I think I've got 5 today. 5 stories about 2 fine friends. Story number 1, The Fibber. Now it helps to know what a fib is. A fib is when you tell a lie, but it's sort of a little lie, if there is such a thing. It's not like the worst lie in the world. One day, George wanted to impress Martha. I used to be a champion jumper, he said. Martha raised an eyebrow. And, said George, I used to be a wicked pirate. Said Martha. George tried harder. Once, I was even a famous snake charmer. Oh, goody, said Martha. Martha went to the closet and got out sand. Here's a snake for you to charm. Eek! Cried George, and he jumped right out of his chair. Can you look at the illustration and see where George is? Just a little part of him jumping up. It's only a toy stuffed snake, said Martha. I'm surprised a famous snake charmer is such a scaredy cat. I told some fibs, said George. For shame, said Martha. But you can see what a good jumper I am, said George. That's true, said Martha. He jumped all the way up into the light fixture on the ceiling. Story number 2, The Experiment. Martha was in her laboratory. What are you doing? Asked George. I'm studying fleas, said Martha. Cute little critters, said George. You don't understand, said Martha. This is serious. This is science. The next day, George noticed that Martha was scratching a lot. She looked uncomfortable. Why do you think Martha is scratching so much? George brought Martha some special soap. After her shower, Martha felt much better. I think I'll stop studying fleas, said Martha. Good idea, said George. I think I'll study bees instead. Oh dear, said George. Why did George say, oh dear, when Martha said she was going to study bees? Story number 3, The Picnic. Sounds like fun. One Saturday morning, George wanted to sleep late. I love sleeping late, said George. But Martha had other ideas. She wanted to go on a picnic. Here she comes, said George to himself. You see how Martha's getting there on her pogo stick? Martha did her best to get George out of bed. Picnic time, sang Martha, but George didn't budge. Martha played a tune on her saxophone. George put little balls of cotton in his ears and pulled up the covers. She just can't get him out of bed. Martha tickled George's toes. Stop it, said George. Picnic time, sang Martha. But I'm not going on a picnic, said George. Oh, yes, you are, said his friend. Wonder how this is going to work out. Martha had a clever idea. This is such hard work, she said, huffing and puffing. Can you see what Martha put on the legs of the bed? Roller skates, so she can push it along. But I'm not going to help, said George. I'm getting tired, said Martha. George had fun at the picnic. I'm so glad we came, said George. But Martha was not listening. She had fallen asleep. How it works out sometimes. Story number 4, The Scary Movie. It's actually not very scary. Martha was nervous. I've never been to a scary movie before. Silly goose, said George. Everyone likes scary movies. I hope I don't faint, said Martha. Vincent Creepo in The Mummy's Toe. Martha liked the scary movie. This is fun, she giggled. Martha noticed that George was hiding under his seat. I'm looking for my glasses, said George. You don't wear glasses, said Martha. Why is George hiding under his seat, do you think? When the movie was over, George was as white as a sheet. Hold my hand, George said to Martha. I don't want you to be afraid of walking home. Thank you, said Martha. Who do you think's really afraid right now? I think it's George. The last story. The Secret Club. Where are you going, George? Asked Martha. I'm going to my secret club, said George. I'll come along, said Martha. Oh, no, said George. It's a secret club. Not really nice, is it, to keep people out? But you can let me in, said Martha. "No, I can't," said George, and he went on his way. Martha was furious. Do you know what furious means? It means really, really mad. When George was inside his secret clubhouse, Martha made a terrible fuss. "You let me in," she shouted. "No," said George. "Yes, yes," cried Martha. "No, no," said George. "I'm coming in whether you like it or not," cried Martha. I wonder how this is going to end. When Martha saw the inside of George's clubhouse, she was so ashamed. "You old sweetheart," she said to George. George smiled. "I hope you've learned your lesson." "I certainly have," said his friend. So the clubhouse was the Martha Fan Club, George president. So it was a secret club to say good things about Martha. I hope you enjoyed the stories today. I love Mo Willems and Pigeon, and I certainly love George and Martha. And I'm not sure when we'll get back to Mo Willems, but I have a lot more George and Marthas to read. Take care, everybody.